I'm Debbie Godfrey. Welcome to the Positive Parenting Pep Talks podcast.
So today I'm continuing the information from Rudolf Dreikur's, and I wanted to go through this really interesting idea that he has. He says, all errors in parenting arise from the same three sources. First off, that the child is not required to observe order. And I guess in our today terms, we would call this they're not following the rules, or they're not respecting the limits or the boundaries in our home. And the second error arises from the source that the parent allows himself to be drawn into conflict with the child. So when we get down and slug it out at their level, I think this is one of the errors that cause misbehavior. And thirdly, that the child is discouraged. So one of the things that he says is we've been subjected to abuses by parents throughout the ages, and if human nature were not so strong as it is, what would have become of all of us? It is true that we could have been better and that we should try to help our children become better and happier human beings. But one factor in helping them is to recognize their ability to withstand so many of the bad influences which we exert on them, unwillingly and unconsciously. So what he's saying here is that the mistakes that we make, to me, none of us are trying to mess up our kids or do a bad job of it. We're doing the best we can with the resources that we have. And so anything that we do that's, quote, a mistake, it's unconscious, or it's like what he's calling it, unwillingly. It's that we don't know what else to do, and we really do think we're doing the right thing. So to me, to give ourselves the most information is what helps more than anything else, is to have lots of different tools to draw on in those moments when our kids are misbehaving.
Look, Bumble knows you're exhausted by dating. All the, must not take yourself too seriously, and 6'1" since that matters, and what do I even say other than, hey? Well, that's why they're introducing an all-new Bumble, with exciting features to make compatibility easier, starting the chat better, and dating safer. They've changed, so you don't have to. Download the new Bumble now.
So one of the things that he talks about is that we try to often avoid conflict with our children by giving in, and this really undermines their ability to learn social conformity. And it's not that we want our children to all be automatons, but they need to follow the social order to get along and to cooperate, and to be able to be in social situations without falling apart. And I know that's the problem a lot of people have now. A lot of parents that come to my classes, they're having trouble with their kids getting along in the classroom or getting along in preschool or wherever they are. And that the teachers are then turning to the parents and expecting them, do something. Your kid doesn't know how to get along in the classroom. He's hitting so-and-so. He's, arguing with so-and-so, or he's punching them or whatever. And it's the parents, they feel like their hands are tied because they're not there. What can they do? And on the opposite end of that, people are also bent on forcing their children to observe order under all circumstances. And then they get into a power struggle, especially if you've got a 3-year-old or a 4-year-old. I mean, those kids are all about trying to figure out how they're powerful in their world. And so when we try to force the social order on them, that doesn't work either. Both those ways are what Rudolf Dreikur says is both of procedures lead to disappointment and failure. If we enter into a conflict with a child that we cannot move him to a proper observance of order, and if we are lax and do not insist on orderliness, we will inevitably be forced into conflict with him. There are only the two alternatives: order without conflict, or conflict and disorder. So one of the basic principles for maintaining proper human relationships is a mutual respect for each other's dignity. All mistakes in education are the consequences of a violation of this fundamental rule of cooperation. Parents who fail to respect the child will humiliate or enslave, frustrate, or overprotect him. On the other hand, they disregard their own dignity and do not earn respect for themselves if they permit the child to boss them, if they indulge the child and make themselves his servants. The great variety of mistakes can be reduced in either case to a neglect of the child's dignity or to a disregard on the part of the parents for their own dignity. Thus, the vacillation between forcing and giving in is the result of this disregard. So this is what we're trying to do here, is to get out of this trap of either overpowering them or letting them have their own way. So let's go through a bunch of scenarios and try to get some more hands-on tips of what not to do and then what to do instead. Have a great day. Happy parenting.
Thank you so much for joining me here at the Positive Parenting Pep Talks podcast. I assume you're here because you're getting something out of these daily pep talks. And wouldn't it be great if more parents could hear more about these ideas for their children? And you can help me in a great way by liking the episodes, by sharing them on your social media, and especially by providing a review on your platform of choice. So if you could do me a huge favor and do that, it would really help get this out to many, many, many more parents. And we can all help our children feel more seen, heard, and understood, which is my life's work, is to make sure that all children feel loved and appreciated and that we can discipline them without breaking their spirit. So I hope that you've enjoyed these podcasts and will continue to enjoy them. And I really appreciate any support you can give me here at Positive Parenting Pep Talks. Thank you so much. Have a great day and happy parenting.